What's up, everybody? My name is Jacob Hardison, and today we're going to discuss some toe adjustments. So in the last video, we went over how to set all of our steering geometry in the front end of our vehicles. That way we have a nice square setup, even steering, and everything is geometrically sound. And in that video, we very briefly kind of touched on toe a little bit, mostly just how to set it evenly from one side to the other. So I figured that for our next video, what better of an idea than to talk about what toe does. So first, what we're gonna go ahead and do is we'll talk about our front end stuff because that is the most recent video we did. And then we will dabble into the rear end of things. So to jump kind of straight into our tuning stuff, in the very front, there are two ways to have your toe. And it's gonna be, you're either gonna have toe in or you're gonna have toe out. So we'll start with toe in because it's not something that you see super duper frequently. So toe in, basically what it's gonna do for you is it's going to, in my opinion, make the car feel more pointy, more aggressive. It's gonna be a little bit less predictable, especially going down something like the straightaway because those tires are kind of pointing in, fighting each other, trying to make the car go one way or the other. And then when you actually get into the turn with that extra toe in, again, because it's giving a slightly more aggressive feel to the car and you have a little bit more angle on that outside tire, you'll notice that it can potentially grab some of like the rough stuff a little bit more. So if you're on a bigger A-scale track that does get a little bit rough in the turns, you know, you're not really gonna wanna have too much of that toe in. For me personally, I don't use toe in very often, like I had said before, but it can give the car a bit more of a touchy, unpredictable feel going around the track. Now, if we swap over to the inverse of that, which is of course going to be toe out, that is when your tires are going to be pointed out from one another. Now, even though the tires are still fighting each other, similar to what toe in is, they're fighting inwards of each other, whereas toe out is fighting outwards of each other. It does seem to give a more stable feel going down the straightaway. It kind of evenly pulls to each side, if that makes sense. So you can get a more straight line feel. It does make the car feel a lot more predictable. You can get a little bit more steering response with it. But generally speaking, the car is going to feel more level around the track. It's not gonna feel as pointy. Everything is gonna feel smoother through the turn, and it's not gonna wanna be nearly as grabby. Now, for both of these, there are obviously extreme ends where you're super toed in or you're super toed out. Generally speaking though, what you're gonna do is you'll have a little bit of one or the other. Very rarely are you going to have the tires ultra pointed outwards of one another or pointed inwards of one another. It'll be just a very slight one way or the other. Similar to what I said in the setting up your front end geometry video, it was just, I like a little bit of toe out. As you adjust your toe, whether it be again in or out, you are going to potentially want to recheck your endpoints. So as you adjust the lengths here, you're going to adjust where the neutral point of your Ackerman plate is, of your steering plate, your pillow ball knuckle, whatever vehicle you have. So as you extend or shorten that, you may not get enough throw one way or the other, or you may get too much throw, and then you will effectively have a car that is either overpowering the servo. You know, you don't want to break your servo because you didn't reset the endpoints after adjusting your toe, or you're going to go around the track and you'll be like, wow, I feel like I just don't have enough steering whatsoever. So that covers pretty much the gist of what front toe is going to do for your vehicle. Again, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna see a little bit of toe out because it's gonna make the car flow and drive easier around the track, comparatively speaking, to the toe in end of things. Now, swapping over to the rear end of our vehicle, the rear toe is gonna play hand in hand with a couple of different settings. Most times it's gonna play hand in hand with something like anti-squat, but for this video, we're specifically just gonna talk about what the toe does. So as we take toe out of the rear, so we straighten our tires, and I also will preface, you'll never really see toe out in the back. I don't even know if it's really possible to do it with a lot of these cars because the blocks will limit you to how much toe you can actually adjust. But as you take tow out, you straighten your wheel, you're going to increase your top speed because there's going to be less resistance in the back of the car, and you're going to notice that it's going to free up the rear end a little bit. A lot of times as you add that tow, you add that resistance, you will also add grip to the rear end of the car, which then makes it feel more stable. So if you feel like the car is not rotating enough on a tighter track, then that would be a time to potentially take that tow out, or if there's just simply, there's just too much grip in the rear. Now, the opposite of that is going to be if you're on a track that is very loose, there's not a lot of grip, you need a little bit more forward drive coming out of the turn, and you already have plenty of rotation, then we're gonna go ahead and give it a little bit of tow in. So with that tow in, what that is gonna do for you is it's going to make those rear end tires fight a little bit more. You're gonna get some more grip out of it, and it's gonna make the car feel more stable going around the track. You're gonna take rotation out of it, so everything is gonna feel a lot easier with adding that tow into the vehicle. So that will cover our gist of tow in and tow out front rear. Again, you're not really gonna get tow out in the rear. There's only so far you can go with the way the blocks are set up, but that will give you everything that you need to know pretty much for setting up tow on your vehicle. If there's anything that I missed, anything you want me to touch on a little bit more here, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in an all new video.